think we should get started. Hi, everyone. I am Tony Reed, Vice President of Alexa Experience, and you'll be hearing from me today along with some folks from my team. So thank you for joining. We'll start out with some really quick introductions. So maybe the presenters can come on screen and give a quick who you are and what you lead. Jordan, do you want to start?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. My name's Jordan Hay. I lead the organization that owns Alexa's personality. So we work to make Alexa instantly familiar artificial intelligence that creates a personal connection with every single customer so that customers feel like Alexa just gets them. But I've been at Amazon for over 23 years, and I've previously worked on everything from making it more than a bookstore to Amazon's ordering systems to being the CTO of IMDb. And I'm super happy to be here with all of you.
Great. Beatrice, do you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. Nice to be with you today. I'm Beatrice Joffrin. I lead the Alexa Trust organization. We really ensure that customers trust Alexa, and I'll talk about it more later in my presentation about what that means and what it takes to do so. Excited to be here.
Great. Thank you, Beatrice. Lakshmi?
Hello, everyone. I'm Lakshmi Ramarthi. I, like Jordan and a few others, have been at Amazon a long timer, a builder, builds product and software teams. I'm very excited to be part of this talk today, and I'll be talking to you about Alexa monetization area and services that I head up.
Great. Thank you, Lakshmi. Perfect. Well, I'll kick off. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. You will see a common theme here with some tenured Amazonians. So I have a degree in anthropology. Like Jordan, I've been with Amazon since 1998, coming up on an anniversary here next month. I've been part of many firsts at Amazon. I started in recruiting. I worked in Z Shops, which turned into Marketplace, Amazon Fresh, IMDb, where I got to work with Jordan. Started the Amazon Media Group, and then last but not least, Alexa and Echo devices, which I've been a part of since early 2014. I have 2 teenage daughters. I have a French husband who's a retired chef, and yes, I know I'm lucky. We have a 2.5-year-old rescue dog. I am hoping he does not bark or whine at the door. I have warned my children to help me. And, a little bit besides my family and my job, which I'm both, very passionate about, I like to run. Of course, I like food and wine, given the French husband. I enjoy stand-up paddleboarding, reading, hiking with our dog. It's a lot of kind of trying to balance life and with some things that keep my mental health active. So why don't I move into kind of a general setup for the Alexa organization. So the Alexa organization at Amazon has over over 10,000 employees who are building and innovating every day for our customers. We offer over 100,000 skills. Skills are the capabilities of what Alexa can do. And this is to hundreds of millions of Alexa customers worldwide. And customers love Alexa. They speak to Alexa on average 150 times a month. Alexa is mentioned on social media every 5.5 seconds, and for every 100 Americans, 3 have told Alexa they love her. So we're very humbled by what we've built and launched, and really what we've been able to achieve in the last 6 years since launching. So within the Alexa organization, my specific team covers really the full funnel of Alexa and Echo devices, meaning we start from the top with marketing and device sales. Then we work on post-purchase feature discovery and engagement. And then we keep going further to deepen our relationship with customers via the Alexa personality, trust with our customers through privacy and the Alexa for Everyone efforts, which Beatrice will talk about, personalizing the experience so that we can serve each and every customer in a way that they want to be engaged. And finally, making sure that Alexa is a business that Amazon and our stakeholders love via our monetization services. So you're going to hear about many of these topics today, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper on feature discovery and engagement for you. So as I mentioned, with over 100,000 skills and feature releases happening at a rapid rate, really daily, our customers have a hard time keeping up with all the things that Alexa can do. I have a hard time keeping up with all the things that Alexa can do. And to combat this, one of our technical challenges that we're working on is what we call hands off the wheel feature discovery. So what this means is automating the process from the point that a feature is released. And a feature can be many things. It can be a new voice interaction, an ambient experience. It can be a large partner launch like a Zoom or a Netflix. But we want to surface these capabilities via our various channels targeted to the customers who might most be interested. And we want to also figure out how to do this effectively in a coordinated experience across channels so that it doesn't feel repetitive to customer or disconnected, but it's actually a coordinated customer journey. So we have lots of channels to communicate to customers. We've had to invent new ones. A voice assistant is a different experience, but we have some of the traditional ones like email, the Alexa app, notifications, but we also have the multimodal home screen on our devices with screens. And then we even have voice injections at the end of an Alexa interaction. And most of the time, the information shared is in response to a user request, such as reminding about calendar appointments or delivery updates or even a smart home hunch. You might have forgotten to lock the back door. This is very helpful. But what if Alexa could proactively anticipate customer needs and start to operate on their behalf? One of the challenges in this space is that proactive experiences and information delivery, when done right, might be very delightful and magical. But if we don't get it right, it can lead to frustration and sometimes even a loss of customer trust. So we're currently working on systems which allow us to identify and deliver information that is relevant to the user at the right moment and in a way that's transparent to the customer or the user. And to enable this, we need to develop an understanding of the content being delivered to the user, the interest of customers based on implicit and explicit feedback provided by them, and the impact of other environmental factors, such as simply the time of day or the device that's being used. So today, the voice experiences we enable on Alexa devices largely consist of uniform point-in-time recommendations. And what we're doing is looking at ways to invent, where Alexa can create, think of it as an individual onboarding plan per customer. So helping them get better at using Alexa every step of the way. So for example, a customer having a single device should not get the same experience as customers who have 10 devices and have been engaging with Alexa for several years. Those are just two very different customer types. And so we're investing in building systems that allow Alexa to develop an understanding of where customers are in their engagement journey. And then we can tailor those experiences so customers can actually derive maximum value out of their devices. This includes distributed systems, novel ML techniques, and conversational AI to allow Alexa to better understand customer needs and in return connect them with the capabilities. Finally, communal usage of Alexa devices present a unique challenge to tailor experiences to different individuals in a household. So while some experiences are unique to individuals, others can be applicable to all. So building systems that can make this decision at scale across locales and millions of households remains a unique challenge that we're actively working to solve. So at a high level, our technical challenges are really about feature discovery and personalized proactive experiences with Alexa. How we build those systems that allow us to enable experiences and the right interfaces so that developers can also participate in this experience with us. And ultimately doing so in a way that can scale to millions of customers. So thank you for your time. Now I'm going to pass it on to Jordan, who's going to talk through deepening our customer relationships through personality and personalization.
Thanks, Tony. Hello. It's very nice to meet you all. I had a chance to introduce myself before. I'm Jordan Hay. I'm the director for personality at Alexa, and I'm going to talk about kind of two sides of the same coin, which is personalization and personality and how we use them to deepen the relationship with the customer. So we can go to the next slide. Okay. To be a great artificial intelligence, Alexa needs to mold to the abilities and the knowledge and the capabilities of every individual. And we really want Alexa to adapt and speak differently to all sorts of groups of people. And I put some of them up here so you can kind of see how we're thinking about our customers. One is kids who have just a really different sense of wonder and humor. People in very specific regions like Wales that have unique language features and phrases. People like the folks in this room who are super tech savvy and may be annoyed by long, repetitive explanations, all the way to people who don't like computers who may want to be given a lot more explanation. And then for us, Tony was highlighting this idea of the communal, but we go to even having people who are multitasking in the kitchen, so who are using one hand to do this, one hand to do another, watching a kid, and who have just really different needs. And because Alexa is working at scale, we need to figure out not just how to build these adaptive and personalized experiences one at a time. We need to figure out how to build SDKs for skill developers, for thousands of skill developers and content creators to figure out how to scale personalization and adaptation for our customers. Can we go to the next slide? So I thought I would give one good example in here, which is family. So we want to know when we're speaking to a child. This lets us get parental consent for the Alexa Kids experience. And it also lets us personalize that experience so kids and their families feel like Alexa is built for them and is personal to them. We want kids to feel like Alexa gets them, like Alexa has endless relevant content and features that they love. And so there are all sorts of really interesting technical challenges here. Everything from how do we know who Alexa's talking to how should we change Alexa's responses when we know Alexa's talking to a kid, to how do we build content selection algorithms for Alexa to use to pick a joke that's funny for a kid. And because this is a communal voice, it also has to work for mixed audiences when there are kids and parents together. So I pulled up a few examples here so you can see how we're thinking about it. When a kid asks for a song, we have to make sure we pick a good song for a kid, right? So we might pick Disney Sing Along instead of kind of a more risque song. But we also want to change the way we communicate to that kid. So instead of saying something super dry, like, here is a playlist you might like, we might say, let's get ready to dance. Here's Disney Sing Along. When we tell a joke, we may pick a poop-related joke, very popular with children, less popular with parents. This one's kind of a classy poop-related joke for you out there. And finally, when we do things like tell the weather, we may want to give a shortened version. Kids aren't probably that interested in the barometric pressure, but they do need to know it's 53 degrees and it's raining, and we might want to give them even more guidance, like don't forget your raincoat, something that might not be appropriate for a grown-up, but we can talk in a different way with a kid than we might with an adult. Can we go to the next slide? All right. So with personalization and adaptation, we want to know who the customer is so that we can build a relationship with that customer. But customers also want to understand who Alexa is, and that's Alexa's personality. So when Alexa launched, we sort of pictured the Star Trek computer that completed utility functions, that took work off your plate. And after we launched, we found that a lot of customers were interested in more than utility. They wanted to get to know this voice that they invited into their home. And so we saw that they say things like, Alexa, how are you? Or Alexa, what's your favorite color? Or Alexa, tell me a joke. Or Alexa, what's your favorite drink? Tea, Earl Grey, hot, to go with the Star Trek theme. And over 10 million times a year, customers say, Alexa, I love you. And as we answer these questions, we built up a personality for Alexa that makes customers want to invite Alexa into their homes. Beyond the Star Trek computer, Alexa more and more is becoming an artificial intelligence like the Star Trek character Data that humans want to interact with. Can we do the next slide? Yeah. So I thought I would pull just one example of some of the challenging technical problems that we have in personality. And this one is how we know if we're getting it right. So across Alexa, one area that is challenging for every experience is knowing when the AI gets it right. In some cases, it's a lot more straightforward. So we can identify cases where Alexa just can't answer a question, and we know that's a defect. But in something like personality, we need to measure the quality of our response, and that's a little bit more complicated. And so it's not enough for us to reduce defects. We need to actually measure and optimize our algorithms for delight. So So things like, how do we know our jokes are funny? How do we make our algorithms pick a joke that's funny for you right now in the context you're in? And I thought I'd just bring as an example, because jokes are fun, but I thought I'd bring 3 different jokes. These are jokes that are in the top 2 or 3 jokes in the 3 English-speaking countries. So in the US, a very popular joke right now, one that we think is high quality, is why did the chicken cross the road? Because her brother dared her to. In the UK, one of our top jokes right now is a good steak pun is a rare medium well done. And in India, one of our top jokes is, what's the difference between a wizard and a spelling bee contestant? One conjures spells and the other spells conjures. So outside of jokes just being awesome, one thing that's particularly interesting here is that this Indian joke is one of the worst jokes in the UK. Like, it does not play at all. And so this is the challenge for us, is how do we start to measure and figure out what's funny? We use everything right now from looking at direct customer feedback to building huge econometric regressions. And we're just starting to figure out how to give an artificial intelligence emotional intelligence. This is one of the reasons I love working at Alexa, because this is a place where there's real meaningful business impact in having a good sense of humor. When we get it right, customers love it enough to share their delight on Twitter. They become kind of our most effective advocates. And when we get it wrong, we actually have data that shows that they come back less often. When we tell an unfunny joke, it's bad. People deal themselves out. So I hope this gives you kind of a good sense of some of the challenges we have. And that wraps up my time today.
Thank you, Jordan. I'm cracking up. I have to kind of get back to serious. This was awesome. Hey, I'm back. I'm Beatrice. I lead the Alexa Trust team. I've been 15 years at Amazon. Had a chance to have an international career in Europe, China, and now the US. So I fell in love with Alexa in 2014 because I had an early beta device and a small baby, as you can see there on the picture. And I really just fell in love right away with this far-field convenience experience where Alexa enabled me to stay connected to the adult world of news and my music and interaction with with the adult world while my hands were busy with my baby. But really what made me decide to come and work for Alexa is something different. It's not just this far-field convenience. It's the fact that the day actually before deciding to come and work for Tony, I said to my early beta device, Alexa, good night. And then Alexa answered, good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. One of the examples, the personality team kind of came up with. And that answer surprised me, moved me, made me laugh, and really made me realize that Alexa is not just another hardware or device, but it's a relationship that the customer is developing with Alexa. And I wanted to just take part to inventing what that relationship was going to become and kind of join the team then. What's interesting, if you go to the next slide, is that this concept of a relationship, customers tell us the same thing. Thanks to all the great work that Jordan just explained, customers talk to us about Alexa in terms of she's a family member, she's a friend. They say numerous times, Alexa, I love you. And so what's important with that relationship is that just like any relationship, it needs to be built in trust. Trust is key for customers to feel like they are comfortable to bring Alexa into their house, so to adopt, buy a hardware. And trust is also key for customers to then engage with Alexa on more personal interactions that are, just beyond cooking pasta, right? Customers don't want, and we don't want Alexa to just be a timer on the kitchen counter. We want them to engage in really personal experiences like communication, managing your health, managing your finance. And for that, trust is really key. So if you go to the next slide, trust is that pillar that's really important. But as we know, it's hard to earn and easily lost. So today I want to talk a little bit about what the work that we do to maintain and foster that trust with customers. We have 4 big pillars that my teams are working on to increase the trust. I'll talk today about sensitivity and privacy. We also have a lot of work around empathy, making sure that Alexa is great for all customers, including customers with accessibility needs, aging customers, and really just has disproportionate value for those customers. And we also have nascent work around ethics. So to go into more details on the first 2, I'll start with sensitivity. If you go to the next slide, this shows you a sample of what things customers tell Alexa. We have to remember that from the very beginning of the invention of this new category, when we came up with a product and put a detail page on the Amazon website to tell customers what this was, we had a very bold promise. We just said, our promise was just ask. Just ask. And customers are taking us up to the challenge every day on that promise. They just say a really amazingly broad variety of things and questions to Alexa, many, benign and some potentially very sensitive around topics like religion and politics and sex and race and their mental health, and so it's a really broad gamut of topic, and it's our role to understand these interactions and the context and ensure that what Alexa gives back to the customer is appropriate and sensitive to, not offensive to the customer. It goes from a wide range, right? We don't want Alexa to be the one popping the Christmas bubble for a kid by saying a factual fact about Santa Claus. That's one side of the spectrum. It goes all the way to the risk of Alexa being an echo chamber of conspiracy theory if she answers parts of questions that are sourced from questionable content. So how do we protect at scale our customers from this range of risks? Is the challenge of the team. It's a unique challenge in a voice interface because we don't have a lot of feedback loop. This challenge exists as well in social media, but there you have more ability for customers to give you signals of what might be offensive. You present them a range of content, and then you can see what customers choose to read. On the voice interface, you just have to give one answer, and that answer has to be right. So the challenge there is both a science and an engineering challenge. How do you, at scale, across the breadth of content, the number of languages and cultures that Alexa is in, identify at very, very, so at huge scale and very low latency at runtime? How do you identify what could be sensitive and then mitigate against it? So that's one of our pillars. If you go to the next slide, I'll talk briefly about privacy. Customers repeatedly tell us how much they care about their privacy, and we care too. We really understand that privacy needs to be built in the design of both the hardware and the Alexa experience. We, at the same time, as I think everybody in the room knows, AI and machine learning need data to become smarter. And so how do we do both? How do we preserve our customer privacy because it's so important to them, and also enable the AI to always become smarter? That's the challenge that's ahead of us. You have to, security only goes so far, right? You can have security measures, but, in the secure fence, people who have access to the data could, we need to protect customers from people who have access to the data. So de-identifying data comes into play. These are some of the innovative techniques that we are investing in. It's hard. How do you measure privacy? How do you ensure that the data is enough transformed? How do you continue improving privacy? So again, it's both science and engineering challenge. How do you really, at scale, build a platform for machine learning that's preserving privacy? So these are two examples of the challenges that my teams are working on. If you go to the next slide, they are really important to make Alexa a great product for everyone. And we're always looking for like-minded inventors who want to build technology in a way that's really a tech for good. I'll pass it on to Lakshmi for the next session.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. We sleep better at night that you take care of privacy and trust for us. If you want to go to the next slide, I briefly introduced myself. Been with Amazon, like many of us here, been a builder here, been part of many firsts at Amazon. I don't know if you can see my dog lounging. He has the best life, Rufus, and he's my constant companion through the working day here at Amazon. I joined Alexa a year ago. I've been super excited to be part of this division. At the heart of it, Tony's organization builds a lot of these core primitives that you see, and we work on some of the hardest world-class engineering problems that you can get your hands on. If you can go to the next slide, please. Part of my team's role and what I build is at the heart of our mission is we build scalable primitives that help reach Alexa customers through very engaging interactions. And we also facilitate their digital transactions. Today, my team, we help drive millions of dollars in digital transactions between developers, Amazon, Alexa customers worldwide, and enable the commerce experience, both for our developers, for our customers, and for Amazon. Our vision is Alexa continues to build a rich catalog of premium Alexa content that is seamlessly available and meets the customer where they are and enables their purchasing in an easy, effective way. Next slide. We do this by, working backwards from the customer. Everything at Amazon is built backwards. While we measure ourselves in terms of our trial rates and purchase conversion, we also obsess over how we analyze our customer behavior, what works for them, what sort of experiences are useful for our developers, so that we measure ourselves in terms of effectiveness, adoption, time to market, and the ease of use of our tools and what we offer to our developers and customers, as much as we think about the trial rates and the purchases and things of that sort. Next slide, please. Behind the scenes, the scale and complexity, I'll share a couple of examples when you think about purchasing on Alexa. Imagine it's a Friday night, you're hanging out with your family, and your family loves to play Jeopardy. And as you're playing through it, as you are interacting, Alexa can come in and help you play that game. And you want to make a purchase to buy an extended pack, or you want to get into a favorite side of the game. Or, you're wanting to buy a subscription for Sleep Sound so that your baby can sleep quietly or you can have a nice restful sleep. We enable these sort of interactions in a very seamless, natural way with voice, with rich interactive formats and in various ways of that. And we do that by inventing reusable interactive formats that allow our Alexa skill developers to offer this at ease, external businesses, and sometimes even internal Amazon development teams to reach our customers at scale. The complexity of this behind the scenes is we extend our monetization infrastructure that Amazon has and our payments infrastructure that works across Alexa devices. So our team is constantly exposing some of this world-class capabilities that Amazon has built onto our Alexa space ecosystem so that you can enable this very seamless ease of use for your digital content. And most importantly, as we do this, we want to do this in a way where we keep the customer trust. We're building with their convenience in mind and offer it in a very private, secure way. And some of the next slide, please. As we think about these roles, and as you are considering some of these roles at Amazon, across the board, as you've heard from personality or personalization or trust and privacy or discovery and engagement, as Tony covered on, we're looking for hands-on builders, architects who can help us design and build the primitives for Alexa. And what you're building is going to be world-class and that can be used across smart assistants. You're influencing a community of principal engineers, technology leaders, and business leaders, not only within Alexa, but across Amazon and the community. You're developing some of our best practices for engineering, our coding practices, our design, and mentoring some of our junior and engineers across the organization. And most importantly, you have a seat at the table to influence business outcomes. A lot of our senior engineers and principal engineers at Amazon are building the right systems, sitting alongside, trying to meet our rapid growth of the business and enabling us to build out the technology and make sure we're actually scaling the systems to the level that our customers demand over the years. With that, the next slide. So we're interested, if you're interested in learning more, we can open it up to questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Lakshmi, Beatrice, and Jordan.